An Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello, everybody. It is Sunday morning. It is, I'm just going to say it. I'm officially in countdown mode because we are 13 days out from our third anniversary / 200th episode. So it is official. We are in the home stretch now. I am excited. Lots of stuff planned, but we're not doing anniversary and or 200th episode stuff today. We are doing something even better. But before I get into all of that, obviously you are here listening to / watching your favorite movie-based podcast, where An Evening at the Movies, where, as you all know, we eat the stale popcorn and we drink the watered-down soda. And if Harvey has his way, he requests it to be done literally on air from time to time, which is not always the funnest thing to do because stale popcorn tastes like fucking styrofoam. But I digress. We love you, Harvey, and I'm only waiting for the next request to come in. But we cannot, at this point, 3 years into the show, change the whole. It's our unique call sign. We will always eat the stale popcorn, always drink the watered down sodas, and ridicule Harvey for making us do it. So, but yes, this is a very special episode, though, of An Evening at the Movies. Why? Because, speaking of Harvey, we are joined on this episode by somebody making her debut who has a very special connection to said Harv-Andre himself. But I will I would say this. She is also his replacement on another show that he used to be on regularly. But I will let her explain everything else. But we are honored to have, for the first time on An Evening at the Movies, Miss Bubbles herself, otherwise known as the Senator from the great state of Bastardom. Welcome on the show, Bubbles.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here this morning.
We are excited to have you this morning. So, for the listeners who may or may not know, it was. But I figured I'd leave some of it for you so that you could let the listeners know a little bit about yourself and where they could find you if they want to enjoy more of your podcast prowess.
All right, absolutely. So I am Bubbles, and you can often find me with Bracket Bastards, if I can talk today. In my defense, I did have to take a Benadryl because I'd put on some lotion that just did not agree.
I hate when that happens because you can never get rid of it again because even if you try and wash it off, it's already soaking into your skin.
Oh yeah. So I'm just trying to wait it out, and it's not fun. It's not a good time. But yes, you can find me on Bracket Bastards. You can also find me here and there on TikTok under Jessie Marie. But yeah, I am very, very excited to be here discussing one of my favorite movies, and not just because I like the lead, but it's overall just something fun.
There is something to say about the star of the movie, but for one, we should just give the listeners the title of the movie because it is that great of a movie. But we are here today to discuss the epic, grand, amazing. I'm stealing all my adjectives from the review portion of the show, but I don't care because that's how great this movie is. We are going to be discussing the Ryan Reynolds mega epic movie, Deadpool.
Woo!
And I'm not going to lie, I still, even though Amanda is force feeding me other Ryan Reynolds movies, I still digress. This is probably still my number one favorite Ryan Reynolds movie of all time. I don't care what she says. She does not control me. I say that only because she's not here right now. And I don't care. No, I do care. I do. She is my amazing co-host, and she has very valid opinions. Normally, most of which, as you guys who have been here for the last 3 years know, are mostly in line with mine because I don't know how, but she is literally like my sister from another mister. Like everything is in line together, side by side.
Amanda's just amazing. I love Amanda. I think she's just so sweet. And on top of it, and you know what? I am with her on the Ryan Reynolds train. Like, I don't think I've seen a movie that I don't enjoy with him in it. So,
I can say one right off the top of my head right now, but it's not because of his performance.
was it Van Wilder?
That would be the and I bet you could probably guess what scene I'm talking about.
I think I could guess.
Yeah, it definitely has to deal with Italian desserts.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, which is very sad for me because I've talked to Amanda about this before, and um, I actually do have a very personal connection to that movie, but that scene still grosses the hell out of me. But for those of you who have not heard the discussion that Amanda and I have had before, the gentleman who plays Sick Boy in the movie, I actually went to high school with Mr. Jason C. Hopkins. So I've actually gone to grade school, junior high, and high school with Jason. So I've known Jason for the better part of the last almost 40 years.
Wow.
So yes, shout out to Jason. And I'm not going to lie, at one point we have discussed doing Van Wilder on the show. And I think if we're going to, I may just happen to try and reach out and see if Jason might be willing to come on the show and discuss his experience on the movie. That would be our first celebrity on the, and I'm not saying putting finger quotes up to be insulting to Jason by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it's not like we're having Ryan Reynolds on the show, but Jason's a great guy, and I think it would be a fun episode. But again, people don't hold your breath on whether or not it can happen. It's just an idea that we're throwing out there, and I probably shouldn't have thrown it out into the universe until we started to materialize it. But I don't care. I'm happy.
That's
So,
exciting. Either way, it's good to have plans like that. So,
well, I mean, it is exciting, and at the same time, maybe if somebody enjoys herself during this episode, maybe someone else might be willing to come back and join us and discuss Van Wilder as well, since she happens to love the great Ryan Reynolds.
I do. I absolutely do.
So, before we get into our discussion, as always, I have some background information on the movie for everybody. Because we all like to have big brains, and having the information allows us to have said big brains. But um, Deadpool released on February 12th, 2016. It was released by 20th Century Fox. It had a budget of $58 million, and oh my God, I wish I had 1% of that. At a box office of $782.6 million, the US and Canada alone.
Wow.
If you haven't seen Deadpool yet, and no offense, peoples, but if you have not seen Deadpool yet, seriously, what the fuck? This movie is freaking great. But you can find it currently on the Disney Plus app. Personally, I do not support the mouse, but I support the fact that the mouse owns everything that I love about movies. So you can go find that and many other great movies on the Disney Plus app.
I do have a question for you on that because I was trying to watch it last night. So I was like, I want this to be as fresh as possible. It was not allowing me to go on the Disney Plus app and watch it on there.
I have my Disney Plus app set up. So I believe what it is the Netflix Marvel TV shows, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Punisher, and all those shows like that. When the rights to those movies reverted back to Disney, because they're not necessarily Disney kid-friendly movies, Disney set it up to where you have to set up a passcode on your account.
Okay.
So that they're not available immediately to younger children because they're not deemed appropriate for children.
That makes sense.
I didn't realize it either until I had to do a whole lot of research because the day of that happening, I was like, okay, I'm going to go watch The Punisher, or I'm going to go watch whatever it was I was going to watch. And I kept Googling or searching on the app, and I'm like, I can't find it anywhere. And I know good and hell well, Mickey just got the rights to these shows. Why the hell can I not find them? So then I started Googling, and they're like, here's the steps that go through to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, Jesus God, this is too much of a damn headache just to watch a goddamn TV series.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like it makes sense because I mean, I've got lots of kids and little ones and stuff like that. And I mean,
True.
I don't know. Like I did end up getting to watch it last night. I was sitting there because I was frustrated. I was like, why can't I watch this on Disney? And then when I'm searching on my Roku, it's like, it's in the Disney app. And then it was like, nope, your profile doesn't allow you to see this. And I was like, well, that's weird. But now that definitely makes sense.
Probably what it is. Yeah, that's probably what it is. And at the end of the day, I can get behind it because, like, I've got it. One is going on 6 and the other is going on 8. And some of this stuff probably isn't the most appropriate for him. And yet he knows how to navigate technology a lot better than I do. So, yeah, I'm all about protecting my ass from the wrath of my sister-in-law.
That makes sense.
So, also, because of the greatness of this movie, I feel like there's a couple older aspects of the show that I would like to bring back, and I'm going to fill everybody in on some of the casting of the movie because we haven't done it in a while. And when I start doing it, you're going to realize why, because I'm going to be a cheap bastard and just rip this shit straight off from the movie. But Deadpool stars God's perfect idiot, a hot chick, a British villain, the comic relief, a moody teen, a CGI character, and there's a gratuitous cameo in the movie as well. Oh, and I also forgot the movie was also directed by an overpaid tool. So, again, if you've seen the movie, you completely understand. I literally ripped that all off straight out of the opening credits to the movie because I think that is freaking hilarious as hell.
It was also written by the real winners here, or the real heroes, I think is what it said.
Yes, exactly. The opening credits to the movie, well, for one, there's amazing music in the movie to begin with, but to have the fact that this movie literally opens up with those credits the way they opened up, and the fact that they're literally, even before the movie starts, they're making fun of themselves and not taking life too seriously. So that sets the stage for where we're going with this movie over the next almost 2 hours. And I'm not going to lie, about 30 seconds after the credits stopped, I was all in at that point and I was ready to go because this movie starts and doesn't stop for another 2 hours. So, um, let's see what I think as far as that stuff. Yes, discussion time. Um, so a good. I think, as everybody knows, I like to open up our discussions with probably the easiest, rip the band-aid off question for everybody, just to kind of sort of get everything open and the discussion open and flowing. But I'm sure this is a very long list for you, Senator.
Okay.
But what is it about this movie that you absolutely love?
Oh my gosh, the raunchy humor. Like the kind of humor that it's just like thrown at you and you're like, they really just say what I think they said? And the answer is yes, they really said it.
Even if it's not raunchy, though, it's still some of the stuff that they said. It's like, wow. Um, the fact that even like he addresses, like the first time he shows up at um, the academy, and it's literally only the two X-Men there, and he's bringing up the fact that, wow, such a big academy, but yet there's only two X-Men. I wonder if that's because the producers could not afford to pay any more X-Men to be in the movie. Wink, wink. And it's like, normally movies don't go to that level of breaking the fourth wall and opening themselves up to the audience like that. So definitely hats off to um, Ryan Reynolds and the rest of everybody for having the wherewithal to be able to do this and do it so well and pull it off, because it doesn't just stop here. I mean, I'm assuming it probably will carry over to 3 as well, but they do it in part 2 also. I mean, it's definitely something that makes this franchise unique and worthy of being one of the most epic superhero movies of all time. But is it a superhero movie?
It I don't think I would classify it exactly as a superhero movie, although there are superheroes that play in the movie. Because, in all honesty, Deadpool is not a superhero. I think what they consider him is like an anti hero,
Yeah.
which doesn't necessarily make him the villain or a bad guy, but he's definitely not a good guy either.
No, I mean, there's definitely he's in a lot of ways like some of the other shows that we talked about during the Disney Plus discussion. I mean, he's in a lot of ways he's like the Punisher. He's like Daredevil. He's like whatever. They can do good things, but at the same time, are they necessarily good people?
Right.
I mean, obviously, from the beginning of this movie in particular, he's Wade is doing good things in a way, but he's not necessarily being a wholesome person about how he goes about doing these things either. And then obviously, as things progress into, him and Vanessa and their holiday love affair, which, oh my God, was literally the funniest. So, hashtag for me, I saw this movie as, well, obviously, like I said, it released on Valentine's Day weekend, what, 7 years ago?
Yeah,
It doesn't feel like it's been 7 years,
it
but
doesn't.
it was a Valentine's Day weekend date movie. I got off work that Friday night, and my girlfriend at the time took me to go see Deadpool because she thought I would like it. I wasn't 100% sold on the whole fact. I didn't realize exactly what all it was going to entail until I sat down to watch the movie. But like I said, as soon as the credits stopped and 30 seconds into the movie, I was hooked and I was falling out of my seat laughing. But it at the same time is still, date night on Valentine's Day weekend, and then you have the year long holiday, for lack of a better term, sex montage. It's like, oh my god, this is so fucking hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And so I was also that girlfriend that was like, here, let's go see this, which Josh, he was already down to do it because that Deadpool would be his favorite comic book character in general. So I was very, very excited when it was coming out, and it was even better that it was on Valentine's weekend because it just it made a really good, just overall date night.
I agree, and the fact that Josh was clearly down for that. I've only been on one other show with Josh, and I will say this now: I think Josh has great taste.
I definitely agree.
Well, I mean, technically, 7 years, and the two of you are still together, so obvious. But then
Right.
Deadpool on top of it. I mean, does it get any better?
I don't think it could. He is the best.
Smart man too. It's not just a hat rack for him.
Exactly.
So, but no, I think one of the other things that I enjoy about the movie though too is the fact that as far as like adult themed R-rated superhero movies go, and I'm getting kind of loose with the term superhero again here because again, like we said, is Deadpool really a superhero movie?
No.
I would classify it more as anti-hero, but some people not necessarily as much in the know may call it superhero. But other than Deadpool per se, the only real other movies like this that had this a moderate level of success though were like Watchmen, and this one is very loosely fitting into the category, but like 300. So I think Deadpool really helped launch the whole premise of you really can be faithful to the source and go out there and go balls to the wall and not hold back and still create an epic movie and an epic adaptation from a graphic novel slash comic book. So definitely hats off to them for that. Is there anything about the movie that you felt like the movie missed the mark on, or that you couldn't get down for?
I don't think I could. So at the beginning of the movie, there was the scene where Vanessa and him first meet.
Mm-hmm.
And they're discussing like childhood traumas, like big traumas. And I don't think that they were actually like serious on it. They were just like bantering back and forth with it. Usually that kind of like humor, it does make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, but the way that they were able to like do it and like knock it out of the park, it was probably one of the cool, because I could like sit there and I could be entertained by it, but it's kind of cool that they like address that those things, they do happen and it can, affect people in different ways. Or it was kind of weird how they did it, but they pulled it off so well. So as far as like something that was done or said, like I don't think there was anything that actually made me feel like uncomfortable or like they didn't actually like hit it.
True, very much so. So evidently, I haven't been paying attention to my comment section, but everybody's favorite regular guest on an evening at the movies chimed in, obviously, with Deadpool's other nickname, the Merc with the Mouth, and evidently, this goes to show you how long it's been that I wasn't paying attention to the comics or to the comments. I started to panic when you said you had a connection to that movie after talking about the loaded pastry scene. Ah, leave it to Chancy to come up with the inappropriate comments. We love you, Chance.
Love
Thank
you,
you for
Chance.
that. But no, I'm honestly, I would agree. I would agree with you 100%. There is absolutely zero about this movie that I can't stand. Like when I fell in love with this movie, I'm not lying. I fell in love with it, you know, for Harvey, for life. So, um, definitely, as traumatizing as that prior relationship was, I will say this: hats off to my ex for allowing me the opportunity to check out a movie that I may not have gone out and checked out, just because of the fact that I was still kind of lukewarm on the whole superhero franchise. And it was about that time where, to me, for lack of a better term, I felt like Marvel was starting to water down the genre of superhero because there was so much. I mean, you had all the Iron Man, you had the Captain Americas, you had the Thors, you had the blah blah, and it's like it felt like it was becoming too much at the same time. But then Deadpool came out, and again, instantly chimed in, and I was down. So, with all of that said, um, I have a surprise for you.
I heard something about somebody being uncomfortable. That's like the bat signal. I don't know. I was like, I'm being called.
I'm being.
Oh man,
I said usually I'm uncomfortable, but in this case, they did it tastefully.
Tasteful trauma.
Tasteful trauma. I like that.
I mean, it was hilarious only for the pure fact that literally, like, I'm like, oh shit, I haven't looked at my damn comments, and I looked over and there was two comments, and bam, lo and behold, my great buddy Chancey Greif was there to pick up the slack, and I read the first comment, and then I'm like, so this goes to show you how long it's been that I haven't been paying attention, because at this point it had been like 20 minutes since he referenced Van Wilder. So I'm like, bam, and I read the comment, and Bubble started laughing her ass off because, again, she knew how long it had been.
Yes.
So
That's all right. That's funny though.
it is kind of funny though. So because you are here, and we welcome your presence on an evening at the movies, because as you know as well as others know, you are always welcome to come on an evening at the movies anytime you want. But we need the great Chancey Greif's opinion as well on the two discussion questions we've discussed.
Okay.
One, what do you love about Deadpool?
The the fact that it stays true to the actual source material as it did.
Agreed, 100%. I think while I was waiting for just, or Bubbles didn't know that you were coming, but while I was waiting for you to pop in, I brought up the fact that the only other R-rated movies of this type that kind of sort of had a moderate level of success was Watchmen, and again, loosely based or loosely defined as in the genre, but 300.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's valid. I mean, Sin City, yeah, but Sin City's up there too. If we're gonna go
True.
comic book style, Watchmen, 100% though, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure you can necessarily classify 300 in that window, but it seemed to always pop up while doing my research for the show. So
Yeah, fuck it, put it there.
grip it and rip it. Then you have the other side of the coin. what do you hate about Deadpool? Is there? Well, no. Let's take the what out. Is there anything you hate about Deadpool? And if so, remember that I can literally 86 you from the show and rescind your invitation to ever come back.
If I was to say there was something I hated about the movie, it would probably have to be the lack of the dynamic between him and Lady Death.
I could see that. I don't necessarily think it. I don't. For me personally, I don't think it's enough to completely destroy the movie. In my opinion,
no, not in any way. No, I thought it would have been great for there to be that. That. I mean, there's no way they would have been able to tie it off with fucking Emperor Disney holding the reins over all the intellectual property. But like, I thought it would have been great to have at least had one offshoot scene where he's dead and he's in this like area with Lady Death, and then Thanos is trying to be all like, look at me, and she's all like, hey, what's up with you over there? And it's all Deadpool and shit, and then he's like, all right, now I'm gonna go fucking kill Earth. I will kill half of everything.
well, I mean, he realistically did, for the most part, kill. I would say more than half of everything. I mean, even with the everything around in the environment that he destroyed as well. I mean, he brought shit down, but at the same time, he was freaking all about taking down Francis at the same time, and he was going to do whatever he could to do it.
Francis.
I feel that Deadpool is a more realistic superhero. Because I don't know, like I think that if I were given the ability to have those powers and things like that, I definitely wouldn't be Captain America. Like that would not be a thing. I would probably do whatever it took to accomplish whatever I'm trying to accomplish. And I don't know if that just like makes me like not as good of a person as I thought I was, or I don't know. I just feel like he's more realistic. Like, look, you're in my way. This is my goal, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
So before we move on, I have to say this. I normally wait till the end of the episode to extend the obvious open invitation, but I'm not going to wait because clearly Bubbles is, in my head, because that actually was the next question I had was if you were dying and in Wade's position, how would you react to the world around you? Would you act in a more Captain America, Superman type environment, or would you be more like a Deadpool or the Punisher or whatever the case may be? Obviously, we got Bubbles' opinion on that. She's going to be a naughty anti-hero.
And I feel like that also comes with parenthood. Like, as a parent, I mean, obviously there's limits, but I feel as if I would do anything for my kids, for my family to accomplish our goals or do what we need to do. I mean, as just being an average person now, yeah, like I'm not going to go and like hurt anybody for it. But let me tell you what, if my kid's in a dance competition, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go get the best outfit or something like that to make her stand out more,
There's
so
nothing
if I
wrong
had
with that.
Oh, what was that?
No, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you could make your child stand out in the opposite fashion and, half-ass and go to Goodwill and get some, whatever, and they'll stand out in a bad, negative way, or, go top dollar and freaking make them stand out and be the star of the damn show.
Exactly.
Like Ryan Reynolds. Thank you very much. So
I would abuse the shit out of my powers. I mean, I don't even know if anybody actually is asking me this question because I think they would just inherently know the answer. I mean, if I had,
I had zero. I mean, at the end of the day, I knew exactly where your answer was going, and
yep.
I mean, I feel like splicing two different subjects together, you would be a combination of the Deadpool slash Leatherface.
I mean, probably. I mean, that's a good I mean, that's a good comparison. I was gonna say like Deadpool or like the comedian, minus the whole fucking, overtly awful parts about it. Just like, more so Deadpool after now that I think about it, because Deadpool does embody all of the best parts of the comedian from the Watchmen, obviously, but like, because like the fact that like that he does all the fourth wall breaks and all the fact that he knows, at least in the comic book sense, at least he knows he's in a comic book. That's so fucking awesome. Yeah, and I've always said if I had telekinesis and telepathy, I'd be fucking unstoppable. The entire world would be mine. Because if I could read your mind and know what the fuck everybody else is gonna do, and then just be like, no, and it stops. Fucking nah, dude. It'd be like the end of Watchmen when he fucking makes Rorschach into Rorschach. Just fucking splock. That'd be fucking awesome. I'd get a bunch of people all in a room. I'd sell it as art. Just fucking, you know how they like do those splatter paintings and shit? Literal splatter paintings. And that's how you make your money legally in the art world and as a mercenary at the same time.
Right? That's thinking ahead. I feel like that's definitely forward thinking, and we need more ideas like this.
I can only respond to that statement by Chancy in one way, and Chancy knows what I'm going to do. Aha! So the last discussion question I have before we move into our review portion of the show. Does the fact that this movie doesn't take itself seriously help or hurt the movie as a whole? And I think we've kind of sort of already discussed it, but I think that was before Chancey got here. So at least we can let Chancey have the floor to chime in on that topic as well. But as always, we can throw in our 2 cents as well. So
I really think that if it would have taken itself seriously, it would have ruined the movie.
I agree.
Because I mean, you can't have a character like Deadpool in the same sentence with taking itself seriously in any capacity. Because I mean, that's literally Deadpool's entire being is just as the Brits would say, taking the piss out of everything.
Yeah.
That's part of why I like it as much as I do, because it's just like that guy that's always there and he's always saying that thing that everybody's thinking that you shouldn't say at the time when you shouldn't really say it. Hi.
I mean, we can't get through a Chancey moment on the show without the obliterate hi. It's become his calling sign, so thank you for throwing it in there, Chance. But yeah, at the same time, yeah, 100% agree. The not taking itself seriously really is what helped define and separate this movie from being just another Avengers movie or whatever. You can't compare it to anything else out there because at the end of the day there really is nothing else out there like it.
No, absolutely. I mean, and I'm with Chancey. Like, I feel like if it did take itself seriously, it definitely would not have been true to Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
And to piggyback off of what the senator said, I would say that it also showed the studios that you can actually have that closeness to the original source material and not having to change the story to this, conflated, like, all insert Marvel here. Yeah, insert Marvel movies here. Good in their own right, but when you actually read the source material, you find yourself fucking screaming at a television set at 3 o'clock in the morning like a crazy person.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
Right? But like, it showed them that, hey, you can actually keep it like this, and you can even go a little bit further into that more adult themed boundary, because this shit just ain't for kids. I mean, shit, the adults that live now were reading this shit as kids, and in my case, I was exposed to this stuff by my dad from when he was a fucking kid.
Therein lies the beauty of comic books and graphic novels, because even though graphic novels really didn't factor into pop culture until probably the early 90s, but comic books have been a part of pop culture all the way back to the Great Depression with Superman and Batman and all of that greatness as well. And it's evolved into Marvel and X-Men and Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and everything. So I'm all down for it all. But the fact that Deadpool is what Deadpool is truly gets me excited at the end of the day. And the fact that the way everything transpired and went down after Deadpool 2, I was crossing fingers hoping that it wasn't going to be done and over with and that we'd still get more. But of course, Dre's only here for Chancy Drive. So evidently, the fact that we brought Chancy into the show sent out the bat signal to Dre. Chancy's here. Dre needs to tune in. Wait a second here. Now, time out. Since you're here for Chancy, Dre. Oh, okay. Not just a hat rack, because the next question was just Chancy and not Bubbles. And Bubbles too. Dre don't come on an evening at the movies for me. He watches for the guests on the show. But that's all fine and dandy. Dre, as long as Dre's watching, then all is right in the world. So a watch is a watch, whether you're watching for me or whether you're watching for the guests. So
Yeah.
I forgot where I was literally going when I saw Dre's name pop up in the chat. Thank you, Dre. Dre does listen for me as well.
Aw.
With the LOL at the end. So, while we progress deeper into the conversation, though, really quick, Dre, do you have an opinion on whether or not Deadpool not taking itself seriously helps or hurts the movie as a whole? So we'll continue to discuss while Dre types up his response to that.
Are we gonna gloss over the sheer amount of fucking drugs that he had in that blind lady's fucking floorboards, including the cure for her blindness? It's like, it's in a little container, it says cure for her blindness in a thing. Fuck tons of drugs. Just
1,600 kilos of cocaine.
for real though.
That's a lot of freaking cocaine.
I mean, oh
That's
god.
one wild weekend.
Oh man.
I mean, there's like the senator and I were discussing early in the episode or before we went on air. I don't remember which one. There's so much about this movie though that if we don't gloss over some of it though, we're literally going to be here 2 to 3 hours covering it all, because that's how epically great this movie is. Whether it's the violence in the movie, how well done it is, whether it's the dialogue in the movie, his one-liners, the music, the everything. I mean,
The Easter eggs.
the Easter eggs left and right.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't stop with just Deadpool 1. It all spills over into Deadpool 2. And I'm not going to lie, if the mouse screws this up and doesn't carry shit over into Deadpool 3, we're going to have a fucking problem. Because this is something definitely unique that the mouse has an opportunity to do. And it's a good time for Mickey to kick the damn door in and say, I'm here in all my R-rated glory. So if we end up with a PG-13 Deadpool 2 or Deadpool 3, I'm not going to be happy.
I don't even know that I'd even watch it.
I will honestly say, if I see a trailer for Deadpool 3 and it says this film has been rated PG-13, I may actually cancel my Disney Plus subscription.
I mean,
and that says a lot
I don't necessarily blame you.
And that says a lot too, because you have to consider where the only places are I can go to get my Star Wars fix, my Marvel fix, my X-Men, Deadpool, all of it. I mean, I have everything on DVD, but at the same time, that's a slap in. 20th Century Fox laid the groundwork for Disney to pick up the football and run with it. Don't screw it up and fumble the damn football, people. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Do what the fans want and give us what we need, damn it.
Well, I'm just going to say, if they do that, I mean, we can go ahead and we can maybe start like an online bullying thing like we did for Sonic. I'm not above it. See, I'm telling you, like, if I had these powers, I would do what it takes. I would bully until we got what we wanted. So
at this point, I'm just going to say that in the real world, my ideal super/anti-hero is the senator from the great state of Bastardom.
Well, thanks. Oh my goodness.
So, God, there's so much that we can discuss about this movie, but at the same time, I almost feel like we could do. Here's my idea that I would like to run by everybody. So, I think at this point, we could move into our overall review and rating of the movie and put a pin in the discussion on this one, because I do think there's a fourth person who we need to have their opinion on, and she's not here with us currently. And that would be my amazing co-host herself that I talk shit about while she's not here, because when she's here, I'm scared of her. And we should do a part 2 on Deadpool before we move on to part legitimately Deadpool 2. Is everybody down for this as well?
I am down for a part 2 because I do agree. I think that there's so much in this movie that can be discussed in just like different levels of it. And like you were already like breaking it down, like you can specifically talk about the violence in the movie. I do find that the violence was also very tastefully done.
It could have been so much worse.
It definitely could have been.
It really should have been, if we're going to be honest.
But at the same time, too, though, still, they were pushing the envelope, because if it had gone all the way as far as it should have, would the Motion Picture Association of America actually let them put the movie out?
I mean, they won't even let a unicorn or a little horse poop on Bluey, so.
Which is a bunch of horse shit.
I think that
literally a bunch of horse shit.
Right. I was like, I feel like that shouldn't be a problem, but But I do agree. I think that if it did get more into the violence of it, they probably would have. Nope. And they might be able to get away with it now because that envelope has already been pushed.
Well, you
And
still got to keep pushing the envelope further and further to
a
see what
little
you can get away.
further.
Yeah, it's not like you need to go Saw franchise all the way, but even I don't remember who I've had this discussion with though. But um, you have epic horror movies even that have pushed the envelope with violence and what they show, but still haven't gone as far as Deadpool went in this movie.
That's
I feel
valid.
like some of the and I figured you would try at least have an opinion chance because you and I have discussed horror movies a lot on an evening at the movies, and we'll be
I mean,
discussing
yeah,
horror movies a lot in the future as well.
I definitely agree with that, especially because like when you define that gratuitous line, because like my immediate thought when you're talking about like horror movie violence in comparison to the Deadpool film, like my immediate thought went to fucking the remake of the Evil Dead when she's got that chainsaw on that thing and it's just fucking playing raining blood while there's blood fucking just going everywhere. I was like, that's probably the line.
But then you look at the fact though too that a classic horror movie that a lot of people have felt traumatized by going all the way back to when it was released back in like Harvey's birth year, Jaws. Literally, you don't even see the damn shark in that movie until Bruce don't show up until like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
At
But
least until they find out they need a bigger boat.
exactly. And at the same time though, because of the way Steven Spielberg shot the movie, you add the music and all of that. You could say the same thing about Halloween, the original Halloween, with the way John Carpenter shot the film. And it takes a lot, and Chancey knows this, it takes a lot for me to shout out Halloween on this show. So much love and respect to how John Carpenter did that. But the music and how he shot that and the lighting and everything, it totally adds to the fucking with your mind and how your mind perceives what's going on, even though they're not showing you what you think they're showing you.
Yeah.
So,
Hitchcock's Monster in the Attic, man.
same thing. I mean, legitimately, until you started getting into like the Saw franchise, most of these horror movies were more in tune with psychologically screwing with you than they were visually fucking with you. Yes, Nightmare on Elm Street showed some stuff, not naming any names, Philip and the puppet, but leave it to Chancey to chuckle at that one. But for the most part, it was very overtly done to psychologically screw with your head. So, but definitely, that is my idea, and I will definitely because I don't know what she's doing right now, and I don't think she's watching because I haven't got a text message yet. But I would like to continue the episode with all four of us and see
Yeah.
because and I agree 100% with Bubbles, and obviously I said it too. But you can talk about the violence. We haven't even scratched the surface on the damn dialogue in this movie, and you could do a whole part 3 just on dialogue alone because literally everything that comes out of his mouth from the first line of the movie until the ripoff of Ferris Bueller in the post credit scene is freaking hilarious in my opinion. I mean, I love the idea. Ferris Bueller is one of my favorite movies growing up, and the fact that he literally ripped that off and did that post credit scene like that, and he's like, "Oh, you're waiting for spoiler alert on Deadpool 2." Well, we don't have the money to do that, but I will say this: so if we do a sequel, there will be cable.
Right.
Lo and behold,
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
there was a sequel, and who was in the sequel?
It was Cable.
Thanos.
I know.
Wrong
I
movie.
love in the second
Wrong
one when you
movie.
said that. Ah,
Not, I mean, technically, Chancy is not wrong. It is Thanos.
yeah.
But
I was like, oh, I fucked that up.
I will go even further to say it's not just Thanos, but it's also Brand Walsh from the Goonies, a young Thanos riding around Northwest Oregon on a little 6-year-old girl's bike.
That's right.
That movie. And the fact that it was most of the outdoor stuff was filmed like 2 hours south of my house. Mwah. And the fact that, on top of it, we had the whole Van Wilder revelation. So much greatness happens in the Pacific Northwest. People need to understand just how great it is here.
Bigfoot.
But there is massive big feats.
Big feats.
So, obviously, ladies first. So, Senator, would you like to sum up your total thoughts on the movie? And we didn't necessarily discuss it, but we always like to let everybody have a chance to rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being hot garbage and 5 being, Deadpool. I'm not trying to influence your rating, but 1 is hot garbage, 5 is Deadpool. You go ahead and sum up your feelings on the movie, and then rate the movie, and then we'll let Chancy have a chance as well.
I think that overall, Deadpool is an amazing movie. Both of them, I know we didn't really discuss too much in the second one, but kind of threw it in there too. As far as like rewatchability, you can rewatch it and find new things about it every time that you rewatch it. And I think that that is amazing. So like, I didn't even realize when Chancy had mentioned that the cure for blindness was in the floorboards. Now I have to watch it and I have to find it, So I think that's something that I love about movies is when you are able to rewatch it and go, oh my God, I didn't even realize that. And then it's just enjoyable over and over again. It's probably those movies I can't get enough of. I almost feel like a toddler with Coco Melon on rewatch with it, So obviously,
oh my God,
a toddler with Coco Melon immediately after talking about a floorboard scene with a bunch of coca.
Right.
So
I would say overall, I would rate it definitely a strong 5 on it, a solid 5 on that one.
I figured that Bubbles would give it a 5. That's why I went ahead and said, obviously 5 on the scale is Deadpool. And I feel like, spoiler alert, Chancy will probably do the same thing. But amazing Iowan brother, Chancy, the floor is yours. Do what you do.
First, I'm going to channel Deadpool and give his rating. Because in all reality, if Deadpool was going to give it a rating, he would probably rate it at a 2.25. Because, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I'm really just subpar at best. But in reality, that movie's a solid 4.5. I mean, obviously, I'm allowing, Bubbles to have the 5 spot because it's not wrong. But at the same time, I'm going to go with 4.5 because it's so good. And I had to have the opportunity to be like, yeah, subpar at best.
So this is going to be one of those rare moments where I do something that I don't normally do, but I am actually currently letting Amanda know that she is going to be a part of the second episode because she just texted me and asked how the show was going. So she knows, and she is unofficially, even though she hasn't accepted, locked into being a part of the part 2 episode. So,
You know what would be funny? If on the second part of the first film, if we were to finish rounding out the first film, and then in the second episode of the Deadpool saga, begin the review of the second film. So then there can be another one, which is part 2 of 2, because you're talking about part 2 about the sequel, part 2 about part 2. Is that like, that'd be like fucking 2 to the 4th power?
It's kind of sort of like the whole concept, and I'm stealing a premise from what will probably be part 2, though. The point where in the movie where he references, wow, that's a fourth wall break of a fourth wall break. That's like a 16th wall break. So this is one of the reasons why I love having Chancy on the show. Chancy has some great fucking ideas. And I don't think we've ever not necessarily done.
I was looking for these great ideas. Sorry, I don't know. I heard something about I had a great idea, and I was like, "Where the fuck did it go?" I'll catch that. I'll catch that motherfucker someday.
But yeah, this movie is incredibly hilarious. It aggressively reinvents the superhero genre or anti-hero genre, however you want to look at it.
I would even put it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, buddy.
No,
when you're talking about the reinvention and then the anti-hero element, all before we finish talking about Deadpool 1 Part 1, we can't gloss over the first brilliant anti-hero film that really rescued the company and paved the way for what 20th Century Fox did and what Disney's doing now. And that's fucking Blade.
Yes, I did not even think about Blade, but
The only reason
definitely has a huge role in this as well.
The only reason I was even thinking about that is because we were talking about all this right now, and then me, being all shiny objects like Doug from Up, like ball, squirrel. But like, I had a squirrel moment, and my mind immediately went, as it frequently does. I was in that fucking club scene at the very beginning. I was like, oh shit, we ain't even brought up Blade in this whole thing, talking about anti-heroes. Dude, that would have been the greatest thing of all time if they would have blended that shit together, where fucking Deadpool is at that like underground nightclub in that scene, music and everything, and then like Blade thinks he's a vampire, so they're all like knife fighting and shit, and like the Deadpool's losing limbs and shit, and he's like, "Hey man, you know how long this takes? You know how long this takes to go back? Come on!"
Oh my god!
Doesn't Ryan Reynolds play in Blade? Isn't he
in the third one? Yep, in Blade Trinity. Yep.
Okay, I was sitting there. I was like, I feel like Ryan Reynolds does play in it.
He was.
That would be like a fourth wall break of a fourth wall break of a fourth wall break.
16th wall break.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to do that math. That's way over my head.
That's more than 16. Yeah.
It's 20 wall. It's 20 wall break.
Right.
Yeah,
I think they should do like a hidden deleted scene that they just kind of release. It's like a little short, like because Disney loves their little shorts that they've got going.
I mean, they kind of sort of attack that philosophy throughout the first two movies with all the cheap shots he takes at not just even Logan, but at Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And herein lies the other part of the whole. My hope for part 3 is the fact that they've done teased this for 2 movies now, and the fact that we're getting Deadpool and Wolverine together. This better not be a little brief 5-second cameo that Wolverine pops in.
You literally stole all. No, I'll let you finish you got to finish that because I just had let me repitch that idea. Finish your thing. I got this. This is hilarious.
But I really hope Disney doesn't crap the bed with the whole Ryan and Hugh together in part 3, and they allow it to be as epically great as it should be. With all that said, before I turn the mic back over to Chancy, I'm going to finish and give my rating really quick. I'm giving this movie 5 out of 5 minutes until you die because I'm going to run you over with a Zamboni.
I feel like that's my favorite on-screen death of all time.
I mean,
As
literally,
weird as
he's like, "Where's your boss? Tell me where he is, or I'll run you over with a Zamboni." ... In 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Idea time with Chancy Greif commences in 3, 2, 1.
All right. So what if in this third one we do get that moment where they're in this massive boss fight and Logan does show up, and then it goes, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go over here and handle this situation, and then you're gonna do this, and then Deadpool carries on with the rest of the movie, and they're like, we'll regroup at this point, and we never see him again. Not because he dies or some kind of terrible thing, because we all know Logan ain't gonna die. But like, just that whole little quick little gotcha moment, like they did in the second one, where you had to really like freeze frame that shit to be like, are you fucking serious? But like, like obviously that makes no monetary sense whatsoever. But just as kind of like a little funny little, wait, what the fuck? They made their obligatory. They meet up. The friends do their thing. Oh, hey, hi, how's it going? Hey, bud, how's it going? Fucking, they do the whole thing. I'm gonna go after this guy. You go after the dude and save the day. You go. We'll meet up after, and we'll catch up. No shawarma. No fucking shawarma.
And then if they do a fourth one, he can kind of cameo in, and you go, "Where the fuck were you? You missed the meetup," and then just continue on.
Right?
Yeah.
Hashtag when I win the freaking Mega Million Powerball, I'm going to start a movie studio, and the head of my creative script writing department will be the senator and Chancy Greif.
Whoop, whoop. I'm down. I'm down.
Double down, even. Spoken like
an evening at the movie studios.
I like it.
Yes. It is. This is good. This is good.
Very, very good.
So get to start off by making all the shorts that we're literally talking about, like short scenes from movies that should have happened that never did, and then just build all that up, and then once you get the following up, you're like, and feature film. No pressure, Bubbles. Fucking, we'll get it wrote out.
We will. We'll write it out. We'll throw the ideas back and forth. We got this. It would be mega trillionaires.
I'm not going to lie. This has been an amazingly fun episode. The fact that we're over an hour into this, and we literally barely even thought about scratching the surface on this movie. It's like, wow. So I feel like we've done a good job of, we'll call this the part 1 episode, but we can look at it almost as this is like the pregame show to what's really going to come in part 2, because we're going to get deep into this shit in part 2, guys.
How deep? Real deep.
Eddie Murphy, deep undercover. So, if you guys love Deadpool, I highly recommend you come back for this part 2. I haven't even begun to prepare it yet. I've got ideas floating around in my brain. I've got my creative team along for the ride. Amanda has officially given me a thumbs up reaction on the fact that I told her that she will be a part of the part 2 episode. So we are going to be back here sooner rather than later to discuss this as soon as we get everything put together and pieced together and get everybody's schedules worked out right. But yeah, obviously can't end the episode as always without saying thank you to the dozens for being here each and every week. You guys are literally incredible. I want to shout out one of our last episodes. This episode probably isn't going to be dropping until April, but I want to shout out back to one of our episodes in January because An Evening at the Movies does an acceptable number of listens each and every week. I am really happy with what we do every week as far as listens go. But we did an episode at the end of January where I had a guest who has an unofficial connection to Turner Classic Movies come on, and we discussed the Hitchcock classic Rear Window. And her episode not only did it double the biggest number of listens we've ever had on An Evening at the Movies, but it has officially tripled the biggest number of listens prior that we have had on An Evening at the Movies. So we are literally knocking on the door of, some people may not consider this a huge number, but as far as like independent podcasts go, if she picks up a few more listens for her episode, we will be breaching 100 listens for one episode. And the fact
Nice.
that it hasn't even been a week yet, I am completely shocked. Well, not shocked in a bad way. I'm shocked because, like I said, we've never done that number before. I knew the episode was great. I was a part of the episode, but the fact that we've never done a triple digit listen before. So definitely a shout out big time to Sarah. And if you guys have not listened to her episode on Rear Window, I really recommend you do it because even if you haven't seen the movie, it's a movie that I feel like stands the test of time and is still relevant to a lot of social dynamics that are relevant in today's society with voyeurism, and cell phones weren't as prevalent back then, but with cell phones and people taking pictures whenever they want and videos whenever they want and all of that, it's still a very relevant topic. So highly recommend checking that out as well. And who in the blue hell is laughing at me? Oh, speaking of which, she is watching now, and she just sent us a laugh. So the fourth part of our Deadpool 1 Part 2.2 slash version 2.0, whatever we're going to end up calling it, is watching. So welcome to the watch, co-host. Wish you were here. But so yes. Always ladies first. Bubbles, would you like to remind the listeners where they can find you almost each and every week?
Yes, so
Not
you can
this week though.
not this week, but you can find me on Bracket Bastards. I am there pretty regularly. Or you can find me on TikTok under Jessie Marie. Would it be okay if I gave somebody a shout out and a little bit of a promo?
Absolutely. The floor is yours. You can do whatever you want with your time.
Careful. I don't know if that kind of power is good for me, as we've discussed.
Well, what I mean, technically we are live streaming, so, but I digress. Well, no. Respectfully, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Whatever, don't get me put in Facebook jail. But other than that, whatever you want to do, the floor. As Chancy can attest, Chancy's been here before on lives. He knows how shady and inappropriate shit can get.
Okay, so those who have listened to Bracket Bastards may have seen my sister Andy and her partner Hollis on there from time to time. They actually just released a single yesterday called Stained Glass. So if you would like to give that a listen, a like, a share, any of that, you can find that on Spotify under Don't Call Me Lady. You can also find them on TikTok under Don't Call Me Lady and Facebook Don't Call Me Lady. I don't know if they're on Instagram. I probably should have asked, just because I know that the gram is kind of a popular social media network there. But I did want to go ahead and give them a shout out. And the song is amazing. And I am so proud of you guys if you're watching. And I love you guys.
So, just so everybody knows, it is on my Spotify as we speak. Well, it's technically playing right now, so I'm going to hit pause because we haven't wrapped up the episode yet. But I will be checking it out as soon as we wrap the episode as well.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Um, partner in crime, my Iowan brother from another mother, would you like to inform the listeners again for the 100th time where they can find your epic greatness each and every week?
Before I do that, I want to give a shout out to my stomach for holding out for as long as it has with me fucking doing this for everybody who's able to catch the Easter egg at home. I've been steady just swapping back and forth between this glass and the can of soda I started with this whole time. So that way people watch it and be like, didn't he? Why the fuck? What's he? I just literally just pick it down, put it back up.
Oh man, you bring the entertainment in so many different levels, Chance. I appreciate it so much.
So I can be found on Maniacal Music Musings. We go live on the Unapologetic, Untamed, and Uncensored YouTube Facebook collective on Tuesdays. And we release on Fridays on YouTube, which is also Maniacal Music Musings, and Spotify under Maniacal Music Musings. And, or as Kasey enjoys to say it, Maniacal Music Musifications.
Damn
And,
right.
and outside of that, when I'm not doing all this stuff, I gotta say, the only other place that you can find me is fucking Mordor, bitches. I really need to fucking crop that. I gotta crop that eye. I gotta do it.
Freaking hilarious. Oh, you never fail to deliver the entertainment value when you come on. I love it, dude.
I do what
I really do.
I do what I can. I do what I can.
So, like I said a couple minutes ago, probably more than a couple minutes ago, this episode of An Evening at the Movies will be dropping in early April. So that means we are smack dab in the middle of movies that everybody should see once in their lifetime month. So, um, I think we will be covering this theme up until the beginning of June. So I hope you guys sit back and enjoy. So that's what we've got coming up on An Evening at the Movies. To check us out on social media and find out what's coming each and every week, though, because I have no idea what order these movies are coming in. I know we've got some greatness coming up. I believe by the
I can
time
fly.
this one, by the time this one drops, we will have already dropped our epic episode on Natural Born Killers that Chance had requested. So
For sure. Y'all want to talk about violence?
Yeah, that movie definitely pushed the envelope even more than Deadpool did. So, but there's other stuff coming up with Amanda as well as Shanna will be back after requesting a movie that made me uncomfortable to watch. But I watched
What?
it. And
Wait, what was that? Antichrist?
No.
Oh, what movie is it?
Shanna requested me watch Saltburn.
Okay.
And
all right.
You've been here enough to know what the number one rule on An Evening at the Movies is. If you request a movie, it goes on the schedule.
Yeah.
Shanna knows the rule too, and Shanna requested the movie. And I'm not going to go too deep into my thoughts, but it's not a horrible movie, but there is some very much uncomfortableness involved in the movie as well. So, That will be coming up during this massive themed month or massive theme period that we're talking about as well. Not sure what's going to be coming up afterwards, but whatever it is, it will be great. Um, as far as live goes, after Amanda gets back from the Caribbean, there will be three of us getting together for epic revisit of a classic horror movie, and that would be myself and Chancy and my co-host herself, Amanda, where there may or may not be a special announcement. But I say that only because that revisit will be done live. And if you want to find out what I'm talking about, you have to watch live to find out what the announcement may or may not be. Aha! So, obviously, we have great stuff coming out all the time. Wednesday morning, normally before the sun comes up, our new episodes drop each and every week. So, check us out and enjoy. Again, Bubbles, thank you for coming on.
Of course, I'm so glad that you invited me. This was fun.
This was a lot of fun, and I look forward to having so much more fun. And the fact that I digress, and everybody in our listener world needs to throw our support behind Bubbles for Senator, because she is the epic senator from the great state of Bastardom. So, lots of fun will be coming, though. So, again, thank you. Thank you, Chancy, for popping in almost last minute, mid episode. You are a trooper. You are my Iowan brother from another mother. And you're also something else, but you'll have to tune in late in February to find out what else you are. I'm not gonna let I'm trying to hype it up as much as I can so that people can see what's you know what I'm talking about though.
You just, I mean, honestly, the closer it gets to the point where you go live on the show, you should just be like, something's coming.
Well, I mean,
it approaches. Like, progressively, like week on one day, something's coming. And then on this date, like ... on this date.
It could be like a whole Chris Jericho countdown thing.
Oh, I like that. That's good. That was solid.
And then literally we steal the moment from the original Poltergeist. It's here. And then we make the announcement.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Not just a hat rack. So, and as always, before we leave out of here again, I have to repeat, though, thank you to the listeners for being here. You guys are incredibly amazing. The fact that live, we are literally 13 days away from our 200th episode. As far as official releasing goes, we're well past our 200th episode now, but you guys are so much a huge part of me and the success of the show and how much I love doing the show. So thank you guys for being here. And
you're on mute, bro. Either that or I literally just went deaf. One of the two.
I can't hear either.
Oh, shit. I thought I was really hoping I finally went deaf.
literally, like we're in the last second of the damn episode, and my head's.
Oh, that's awesome.
So normally, yeah, we have Amanda do it. I'm getting sick and tired of covering for Amanda, so I'm going to turn everything over to Chancey because Chancey knows what is next, and Chancey knows what to do. Chancey's been here enough. So, brother from another Iowan mother, the floor is yours.
I just want to say thank you for coming and spending some time with us here on an evening at the movies.
Oh, man. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.